is that our emotional states are really just, chemical messengers binding to receptors and bringing about a state that we feel, right? The dopamine hits, the oxytocin, the adrenaline. And those states are actually quite fleeting, right? If you look at like how long that dopamine molecule binds to a receptor and brings about a state that we feel, I think they estimate 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something.
Hmm.
And I mean, my son is the greatest teacher of this,
Right.
right? He feels something big and he screams and he cries and he stomps his feet and he wails his arms into the air and then he's laughing. And
Hmm.
like that actually is emotion in its true form.
Hmm.
But when we don't do that,
Hmm.
and we do what a lot of adults do, is we go to therapy and we try and explain the emotion and talk about the emotion doesn't move. So I think two things happen.
Hmm.
One is those emotions get trapped in our tissues, right? And we've all had this experience where, like, you go to a yoga class and you hit some pose, and all of a sudden you start crying or laughing, right? Because, like, you're stretching out a connective tissue where some emotion is tightly bound into. Or I was a massage therapist for 10 years. I would have these moments where you hit a point on someone's body and they're like, "Oh my God, I just like remembered this thing that happened when I was a child," and they start crying. It's like it's in the tissues.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's like a real sort of call these days to do a little less of the talk therapy, where we have a tendency to just talk over the emotion, and do a little bit more, movement, crying, laughing, feeling, breathing.
Hmm.
Right? You probably have seen this all the time where like someone wells up with emotion and they just stop breathing, right? They just freeze.
Right.